All right, we are here, guys. Once again, thank you for joining us. This is TMG's Champion Series. I'm Raya Masa. Joining me on the desk today is MDI Shishikura. We will be your casters for this evening. Games today are going to be TMG Injection versus Apox Gaming. TMG will be the blue side, starting for game 1 and 3. Apox will have the red sides for games 1 and 3, and blue side for game 2.
Yeah, and as we can see, we're getting some pretty quick bans. Swain, pretty common. Z-Bard plays him a lot. He's really strong right now. I don't know if Impulse X plays him as much in the mid lane, but with that taken away from Z-Bard, he's going to have to dig a little deeper in that champion pool.
Very true. We've got Swain and Shen coming out as the first couple bans from both teams. We are doing a couple of substitutions today. Shooter McGavin switching in the jungle for TMG Injection, and Takeshi Aki in the 80 carry substitution for, and with Y in the jungle as well for Apox. It's going to be an interesting game today.
Yeah, and as you can see, the blue team did have to miss a ban for having to use an emergency substitution, so we're going to have to see how much that affects them later in the game.
Yeah, it is the early season. People aren't quite sure what to expect. I'm not going to say it's going to have a huge deal to see how it goes, but we will see how the games play out over the next couple of weeks. This is, like we said before, week 1 of TMG's Champion Series, so hopefully things will get right underway, and we'll get to see a little bit of action for the next couple days as well.
And as we can see, just a lot of meta bans. I don't know how I feel about Sejuani. I don't know how much Shooter McGavin plays her, but Zed and Vladimir, really strong picks right now, and it would be kind of ridiculous not to ban them at the moment.
Yeah, Zach picked up first here for TMG Injection. That is kind of a flex pick with it being in the jungle and the top lane. Answered almost immediately by the Maokai and the Elise for Apox. Maokai, as we know, kind of been the king of top laners. Hasn't really left for the last season. Since the start of the season, he's kind of been around.
Yeah. And with Elise able to do some percentage damage on the high health Zac, if it is in the jungle, Elise is going to have an easier time dealing with him if they get into skirmishes.
Yeah, we'll see how it goes for the rest of the games. Right now, Zir and locked in Karma, potentially locked in for the support for Brome Better Than You in that bot lane. We've seen kind of the advent of range supports over the last over the summer, and with MSI as well earlier, where used to be a bit of a slant towards those tank supports, Alistar and Braum, for example, being picked up quite constantly. But over the last couple weeks, we've seen a shift towards the North American, quote-unquote, meta, being with the range supports picked up for the likes of Aphromoo and teams in North American LCS. People all around the regions picking them up as well. We've seen the Janna locked in here for blue team, as well as the Caitlyn locked in with, looks to be an Ahri for Apox's mid laner Impulse.
Yeah, and Azir has been a super strong pick. I'm not entirely sure why they chose to ban Sejuani over Azir when we know how much Hallucinogenic loves his Azir. I guess that just speaks a lot to ImpulseX's confidence to win lane against him.
Yeah, definitely going to be an interesting showing. Azir favorably not doing too great against most assassins, but that being said, if he can get through, does have that barrier picked in for his summoner spell. Whoa, is that a Mordekaiser?
Yeah,
Please?
Umbria is a big fan of the Mordekaiser in the top lane.
Oh man, that is a top lane Mordekaiser. All right, guys, week 1 to TMG's Champion Series, and we already have a Mordekaiser pick. This is going to be great.
And Ashe into Caitlyn. Ashe can just farm pretty safely with her volley. We all know how much of a bully Caitlyn can be in the lane, so Ashe is relatively safe for ult. It's good disengage as well as engage if they do ever want to go aggressive on that.
Very true. Oh, looking like we're going to be picking up potentially the Braum here for Consi. We'll see if that gets locked in. But in the meantime, we've got the blue team. TMG Injections team is locked in. We've got, looks to be a Zac in the jungle. Mordekaiser in that top lane for Umbria. Shooter McGavin picking up that Zac. Hallucinogenic on the Azir. Ashe for Probliss and Janna for Brome Better Than You. So that's a pretty sort of engage-heavy lane there. They've got Zac, they've got Azir and Janna for follow-ups in case the fight's reset. Mordekaiser is going to do Mordekaiser things. By that I mean do a lot of damage and be highly immobile. And then on the red side for Apox, we've got Zeobard on Maokai, Y on Elise in the jungle, Impulse X on Ari in the mid lane, Takeshi on Caitlyn in the bot lane with Kansi on that Braum. So, a lot of really good options here for both teams. Maokai and Zac, both extremely strong initiators. Maokai with one of the easiest initiations in the game, Flash Twisted Advance. Kind of impossible to miss, really. And then you've got a lot of follow from Ari, Braum, and Elise as well. A lot of single targets you see, a lot of pick potential coming here out of Apox.
Yeah, definitely. Red team's going to look to group up early, get some deep wards in, try and just make some picks and snowball from there. One thing I do want to point out from both teams is there's a lot of magic damage coming out. There's some like late game hyper carry potential from both AD carries. Obviously, Caitlyn is the better of the two, but we're going to have to see a lot of magic resistance out of both teams if they want to make it out of these team fights.
Very chill. We'll be looking for early Aegises of the Legion, Lockets of the Iron Solari coming out for Bro and Kansi as well. That being said, we've got pretty bloody teams here as well.
Yeah, both of these teams are definitely going to be looking to fight a lot. I'm not entirely sure how well the Mordekaiser is going to do. I don't know if he likes to split push with it. I don't know if he likes an early team fight. We're just going to have to see how this plays out.
Yep, well, it's Umbria picking kind of carry top laners. We'll see how he gets that through the rest of the games. Mordekaiser, not necessarily the greatest top laner anymore. A lot of his interactions have been changed to deal with split lanes and objectives. Dragon, for example, with that Children of the Grave is very, very useful for pushing, especially with the advent of the Elemental Drakes as well, because Mordekaiser, at least last I remembered, can in fact take the Elder Dragon with his ultimate, which is kind of terrifying. They might have fixed that, not really sure. But we will see how that happens out through the game if they get to those objectives.
Yeah, and I'm honestly a little interested to see how this bot lane plays out. I'm not entirely sure how skilled Takeshi is as a player. I haven't gotten a chance to see him play. I have gotten a chance to see Probliss play. He tends to be a little aggressive, sometimes over-aggressive in the games I've spectated. So I want to see if the red team's bot lane will be able to punish him for it.
Definitely true. That being said, once again, for those of you joining us, this is True Minded Gaming's Champion Series, Week 1, Day 1. We had a little bit of a delay last week, didn't get the games going, but now we are into the first game of the series. True Minded Gaming Injection versus Apox Gaming is going to be our first best of 3. For those of you who are unacquainted with the best of 3 series, this will be a best of 3 for first team to 2. We'll take the series and we'll get the full points for this particular match. That'll be our format going through for the rest of the tournament, coming out of the best of 2s.
Just a little bit longer loading into the game. There is a spectator delay as to prevent cheating, obviously. Any final thoughts before the game actually loads up?
I'm kind of looking forward to a bloodbath.
Yeah, you said it.
There's a lot of team fight potential, a lot of pick potential, and with the Ash Arrow and the Zac initiation, it's going to be a lot of fun.
Yeah, definitely going. It seems like it's going to be a bloodbath just throughout. I'm going to be a little disappointed if there isn't a kill before 5 minutes. One thing I did find interesting was that they opted to first pick the Zac rather than grab out like the Azir, who's a very highly contested pick. It seemed a little interesting. I guess they knew Impulse X doesn't play it as much, but it seemed a little risky to me.
Yeah, we'll definitely see how that goes. I mean, Azir is pretty highly contested. He's gotten nerfed a little bit recently with the last couple of patches after a very sort of oppressive showing in MSI and the Spring Split as well. He can no longer damage turrets with his W, so his split pushing ability isn't nearly as strong as it used to be. One of Azir's kind of hallmarks was when the enemy mid laner roamed off somewhere, Azir would just walk over and hit you. Well, hit the tower and like take it instantaneously. So we'll see how it goes, but we are on the Rift, folks. First game of the series. We'll see how that plays out. This is a best of 3, like we said before, so we'll get at least a couple more games, potentially 3, coming out of this particular team setup. So more things to do, more things to watch. It'll definitely be a lot of fun.
And red team's setting up kind of bunch. They might be looking to an invade or at least get an early warding down, whereas blue team's offered for like a standard start, you know, just kind of spreading out. Chose not to get an early ward down. Ashe is hanging around the top side. I wonder if they might be opting for a lane swap in that just to get out of the Caitlyn.
Yeah, definitely would be very advantageous for them. Caitlyn Braum is a very strong lane and is a lot of power coming into that as well. We will see how it works out. Looks like Caitlyn Braum are hanging around that bot side. Ashe and Zach moving down towards that bot lane, so not likely to be a lane swap. They're taking the safe ways down through the jungle, making sure they haven't been invaded.
Yeah.
Although that was kind of a really long way considering they had a red buff there.
Yeah, I guess they're just playing safe, just not get spotted in case there was a ward outside of their own red buff, but we know there wasn't. Ashe has no items.
Oh, well, alright, Probliss. First game of the day. Come on, buddy. I believe in you. Alright, so that being said, Probliss had to back for items. We've got pretty standard starts though. Why start? Who's gonna start with that Gromp on the strong side with Consi and Takeshi. Braum passive, as we know, fantastically good for leashes. Does have an on-command stun. We'll see how that goes through.
Yeah, and with the having to recall super early because not buying items, now Caitlyn and Braum just have a foothold in the lane, as well as Zach being a little bit behind on his clear with the leash.
Indeed. He is going to be a little bit further behind. Not necessarily great, but it is Zach. He can make those ganks work, even really without items. But Caitlyn and Braum here are going to deny quite a chunk.
And as you can see, they're already pushed up to their own tower. They're definitely going to get the level 2 early, but with Ashe Janna, they can play safe enough to not get capitalized on it.
Alright, let's level 2 coming in for the bot lane. They do have the pressure advantage here for a little while. Umbria is pushing into Maokai. You know, Mordekaiser doing that thing he was always known for, that pushing ability. But things not doing too badly for blue team though. Even though they lost the tempo advantage in that bot lane, they do have also, we have some technical issues here as well. Apparently, the game sounds aren't coming in on the stream. Oh, Jesus! Never mind. Okay, well, Impulse gets the first blood. Or gets first blooded, I should say, by Hallucinogenic and Shooter. Flashed with advance coming in. Umbria gets engaged on, but the Cocoon just missed a bit too much, and he's going to be able to walk out of there. Does still have his summoner spells. Y and Zeobard blowing both of theirs in an attempt to get that gank off.
Yeah, and actually, Umbria was fine. Oh, and we have a fight in the bot lane.
Uh-oh. Shooter McGavin onto Consi. Consi does have that passive, is going to get those stacks off as well. The Unbreakable coming in, blocking in that Howling Gale. A little bit of action from both teams. Not too much, though. It's not too bad. But nothing to really answer yet to that first blood in the mid lane.
And there was that, early fighting we were talking about. But in the top lane, Umbria did have a ward in the red side tri-bush, so he did see Elise coming on her way, so he was able to get out of there when he could. And again, they opted to let Hallucinogenic get his Azir, and now he has first blood for it. So maybe in game 2 they're going to have to rethink about that one.
Yeah, very strong presence from the jungle coming out for Shooter. He did basically make mid lane his priority. If Azir can get ahead, he does have a lot more anti-engage potential versus Assassin than when he has an advantage. So very good presence of thought for Shooter to get Hallucinogenic ahead in that lane, especially because Impulse doesn't have like defensive summoners other than Flash. He has the Ignite there as well. Sushikura, apparently game sounds aren't coming through.
Still? Alright.
Yeah.
Oh, that's... Alright, here's what we're gonna have to do.
Alright guys, bit of technical issues. Sorry, we are working on it. Trying to do what we can.
Alright, yeah, I guess I can't have push to talk on through the streaming source, so I'm just gonna have to deal with it. Deal with my mic picking up a little bit of extra feedback.
Oh, never mind. Apparently the sound is good. Never mind. I don't know. Well, hopefully those technical issues have been resolved. Hopefully we can get those through in game 1 and get all the settings worked out.
Yeah, should be going good now.
We're back into it, yeah. Yeah. We're working through technical issues, guys. Sorry. Trying to make it work out.
So after all that early fighting, it seems to go back to a little bit of a standard. Elise likes to be camping that top side, and Umbria is playing way too aggressive for that.
Yep, Umbria's right there as well. Why is there the cocoon? Almost going to land that one, but Umbria does manage to get the flash out of there. They don't... Oh, and Shooter's here as well. Double! That is a counter gang coming in from McGavin. They're going to get Zeobard, and Y forced to run, as he does get hit tagged by the Children of the Grave. Not enough to really kill him, but definitely enough to force him out of the engagement. That is a beautiful counter gang coming out for Shooter McGavin in the top lane.
Yeah, even with that setback in the early game, Shooter McGavin has been making plays on that Zac. We can tell it's a really strong pick for him.
Yeah, Zac has kind of been, was for a very long time one of the strongest junglers in the game. It's back in Season 2, Meteos on Cloud9 picked that up and used it quite extensively, kind of what he's known for. But kind of fell out in popularity with the advent of better junglers with faster and earlier clears, but Shooter McGavin showing that if you can pilot it well, it doesn't matter. His early game presence has been outstanding here. 2 assists and been a little bit further in other lanes than Y has.
Yeah, he's like his presence is making like everyone play safe except for the bot lane who just keeps pushing it on and on. We're probably going to be looking to see a Zac gank in the bot lane.
Yep. As of right now, CS differential is getting a little better. Takeshi is about double. About 50% up on Probliss right now. But that is a Caitlyn lane. It is extremely oppressive. We'll be trying to see how it goes out through the rest of the lane phase. But Caitlyn, as we know, very strong laner.
Yeah, and what she has in the early game, she kind of falls off during the mid game, as she's known to do. Whereas Ashe, that's where that's her strong suit, is in the mid game, making picks with her ultimate. So she just got to hang on there. She is 16 CS down, so she's going to be a little bit behind when it comes to first backing items, but I'm sure she'll be fine.
Yep, that trap line doing a pretty good job of zoning Probliss away from engaging. She does step on it. Uh-oh, headshot coming in right there. Don't stand a bit too close there with the shield. Not quite. And Impulse goes in on Hallucinogenic. Y is here as well. The cocoon, not quite enough. They're going to have to blow the flash. The barrier comes in and Ignite as well. McGavin is there in the corner, but he's now by himself. Y picks up the kill. Shooter has to run. Gets out of there pretty safely with that last bounce, but that is a kill for Y here again. Second kill of the game for Apox, and he does manage to pick it up.
Yeah, and we have to notice that Y got the gold for that kill, so Hallucinogenic actually isn't that bad off in lane. He's still ahead in CS, he's still ahead in gold, and it wasn't the worst thing in the world for Y to get it, although we're going to have to see if she's able to put use to the gold that she just got for the kill.
Yep, Elise is a very strong snowballing jungler. If you get that damage pressure out, we'll be looking to see Elise. Uh-oh. Alright, well, Y found McGavin backing, and Impulse is there as well. Shooter is going to be in trouble, has to blow the flash, gets out there with the slingshot. Rest of the red team moving in to support that gank as well, but they don't really manage to get anything down. He does manage to get away to safety. Did have to burn his flash for that, though.
Yeah, we're just going to have to see how much losing your flash is going to have an impact. He doesn't really need it for the engage, but for disengaging, if he elastic slingshots his way into a bad situation, he's going to be punished a little harder next time.
Definitely true. We'll have to see how that goes on. See if it affects it in the next couple of minutes. Flash does have a very, very long cooldown. But it is Zac. He does have the ability to do those ganks without it. And Impulse did, in fact, kind of lose a little of his lane pressure there because he did come down to support the gank, blew his mana, didn't manage to get the kill. Hallucinogenic coming back at full health and mana, able to push him back under that tower.
Yeah, I'm a little sad. Like, there was a lot of action early on in the game, but things have started to slow down. I was kind of hoping for a little bit more fighting, but four kills before 10 minutes, I guess, isn't something to be too sad about.
They are not wrong. That's actually a pretty good amount of aggression here coming in from both teams. Coming in at the 10-minute mark, we've got a 600 gold lead here for Injection. Not too big, nothing particularly noteworthy. That can swing pretty much either way with one play. Oh, McGavin and Y find each other in the jungle. Oh, the Cocoon comes in. McGavin's going to get CC locked down here. He's going to have to blow Let's Bounce to get out. Not going to be able to make it. He does have the blowout passive, but that is a teleport coming in for Umbria. Uh-oh. Is he going to make it? Y is going to get ghosted. That does mean that Morgan does have a lot of damage and AP to support that as well, but he is forced to run away a little bit. The Q comes in as well. Not going to land it. Doesn't have the range. Mordekaiser with not quite enough damage to finish it up. But in the meantime, Hallucinogenic in the bot lane. Takeshi is forced back under the tower, going to get the volley there. Kansi has to run for his life. Jana with the flash Howling Gale, not able to get it done. He manages to escape under the tower, but that is a bunch of trading going on here in that fight.
Yeah, and I don't believe Ari died. So overall, that was a what, 3 for 2?
2 for 2, I believe. They got Y and Takeshi in the bot lane. And
yeah, 2 for 2.
Yeah.
So I guess we'll just recap that. Zac tried fighting Elise. Elise has her full jungle item. Zac opting for the Mercury Treads rather than finishing his Cinder Hulk. So not the smartest decision from him, especially with Elise's percentages. And then with that fight going on, Hallucinogenic found his way down to the bot lane. He's able to pull off a great gank.
Yeah, very good map presence from Hallucinogenic, knowing that he wasn't going to make that in time. Did head down to bot lane for the gank and then chose to continue it. Ocean Drake here, though, getting picked up for the blue team Injection, picking himself the first Drake of the game. Mordekaiser, nowhere inside to take advantage of it, but hey, that's what you get when you put him in top lane.
Yeah, and we do know that after the Ocean Drake nerfs, it's not nearly as good with out-of-combat healing rather than just healing over time. But nonetheless, it's alright to get, you know. And as we see, the next dragon is going to be that Infernal Drake, so we're going to see how the teams prepare for that one.
Yep, meanwhile, Takeshi split pushing that bot lane as Caitlyn is wont to do. That tower is actually very low. Testament to the pressure they've been putting on it the whole time. But that means they did get the first tower in the bot lane with off the back of that gank as well. So pretty good trade here for Injection. They do manage to get themselves about 1,000 gold lead off the back of those plays. Ash Arrow comes in, Exhaust comes in to Takeshi, but he's taking tower shots. Probus might get stunned under the tower here, but he does have the passes on him. Exhaust coming out as well. It is a lot of slows here coming in for Probus and Bro, but they've got the chase here. Kanzi dodges the Howling Gale with that stand behind. But that's going to be one more auto attack. Maybe not going to make a teleport. Coming in from Zerbar to force the fight backwards. He does get the flash and the twisted advance onto Probus. Knocks him back into that Howling Gale. Might be able to save him, but Probus is going in for the kill here. Gets the knockup coming out, though, and Brovenu is no longer able to keep him alive. Hallucinogenic with the shuffle. Pushes Impulse over the wall. Has to come back around. Barriers coming up as well. Not going to get tagged. But tags by the back end of that Orb of Deception, manages to keep him under just long enough to get the kill. There's the Bloodblast Shikura, there it is.
Yeah, that's exactly what I was looking for. Just fighting all over the map. We see Elise trying to hold down the top lane for Zeobard and taking a lot of damage in return for that. But with the one fight in the bot lane, obviously they're able to get the tower.
Yep, good rotations from Y, coming up to clear that top lane while Zeobard was in the bot lane there with that gank. Gets everything a little bit centralized onto the players. They still manage to pick up the XP from those lanes as well. But in the meantime, that gold lead that they had, 1,000 gold, has now been reversed, 300 in favor of Apox Gaming.
Yeah, we're going to have to see how they can make use of that. Most of the gold being on the Elise and on the Ahri after her solo kill on the Azir. And I guess Impulse X was right to have confidence in that lane, as you know, solo killing in a zero is not an easy thing to do.
True enough. McGavin's early pressure kind of dampened by the fact that people have been roaming around Zeobard and Y looking to force down that bottom tower. But Probus and Bro Better Than You are there. Y is taking a lot of damage, doesn't manage to get away. Probus with the slows on the auto attacks. Gonna not quite tag the volley. And Pro Better Than You just hitting him, getting those stacks up. McGavin in the mid lane as well, going to stop the gank onto Hallucinogenic. Going to keep him alive with that ultimate. Not really sure if it was necessary, but he did manage to stop the aggression, and Hallucinogenic can take the time to clear out the mid lane, which means they've got a pretty good rotation going on up here.
And yeah, they kind of let Zeobar defend for himself in the top lane against the Ashe and Janna, who's able to give her extra AD on her autos, so pushing towers is a lot easier.
Yeah, it looks like red team pinging up. They do know he needs help there. Not very much you can do as a tank. Solo against the AD carry support lane, and a lot of the lane rotations we've seen come out of many teams over the course of the splits and tournaments as well. So rotation's working out very well. Probus is going to be taking that tower, but Kansi has joined Zeobard. They're going to be able to force them off with the presence of that Bard. So good rotation there from Apox to try and fix that problem in the top lane.
If you look at red team's position on the map, they're pretty split. You got 2 in the top lane, 3 around blue buff, whereas blue team's all centralized around the mid lane river area. So they're definitely set up to take Scuttle, Rift Herald if they want. It looks like they're collapsing in on the red team right now.
Indeed, top lane coming in. Umbria going to come in, but the Mordekaiser not with the greatest CC for ganks there. Going to get Children of the Grave, but one more auto attack will do it. Probus gets it. Umbria going to get that Bard Ghost to be able to tank up towers even better now. Wise coming in for a lane gamp. Uh-oh. Hallucinogenic is dangerously low. Dodges the cupcake that might have killed him. Does manage to get out of there safely, though.
And
it looks...
Oh my god.
Yep, Gavin coming in as well. He's under the turret. He does have a lot... Oh, teleport coming in here from Umbria as well, but it's Mordekaiser! He can't really do very much besides relieve the pressure. Not very much. Oh, and an arrow coming in. Look at that damage. Oh, man. The flash Q, flash mace from Mordekaiser and the Azir Soul just picking up the kill on Takeshi. A beautiful down the river arrow from Probus.
And with the fall of Caitlyn, that should mean the mid tower as Mordekaiser wants to group up with the... Oh, wait, no, he didn't get Children of the Grave off on her, but... They actually rotated away and left Ahri in the top lane. She's able to get that tower by herself.
Yeah, unfortunately, good play on that mid lane. Didn't manage to get very much for it, unfortunately, but they did, in fact, get the kill onto Caitlyn, stopping some of the early pressure. They did lose the top lane tower for it, but they are still ahead. Injection still leading with about a 2,000 gold lead here. Uh-oh. Shooter McGavin's in trouble. Gonna get Twisted Advance. The Flash Monsoon from Bro to separate the fight and keep everybody alive. Shooter does manage to get out without burning a summoner spell, but that is the Janna's Flash in exchange for basically nothing.
And that Zac has been sitting on just the Smite item and Balmy Cinder for so long. He's at 2k gold.
Probus getting dived here under the tower. He's gonna get knocked out, but he's going to take the damage as well from... Oh, and Y is gonna fall as well. Good trade there for Hallucinogenic with the Emperor's Divide, but... Run Better Than You trying to run for his life. The exhaust comes out and he's gonna fall. Flash Twisted Advance getting that CC, and it looks like red team going to make a play for Dragon here. Apox gonna pick themselves up the Infernal Drake. There's not much they can do. They might be able to contest it though. They do have Smite, and they don't have Elise as well to secure that Dragon. Shooter McGavin in position as well to try and steal it. Apox is going to pull that one out, though, of the pit, give themselves a little bit more breathing room to do it.
And blue team doesn't really have very many words. Mordecai is going to be the portable word for them.
Walks into it. Uh-oh. Nope. Infernal Drake resets. Apox might be forced off of this one. They are taking a lot of damage, and it's still at 2,500. At least, however, going to come an arrow coming in as well. Going to hit Kansi in by the Dragon. Here comes Zac. Picks up the kill on the Kansi. Umbria and Shooter in the back line. Not going to be able to take him down because he's not particularly taking. But they do secure themselves the Ocean Drake as well. And the fight is starting. Probus has a root on Tarkane, doing what he can. Hallucinogenic drops, does have barrier, and falls. But Probus and Shooter McGavin, the front lines for the team. Y is here. Braun Better Than You is here as well. Going to be able to pick up the Howling Gale on the Y. That is a 4 for 2. And the Infernal Drake going over to Injection.
Apox was staying a lot longer than they should have. They just kept trying to make sure Zach couldn't steal it from them, but in doing that, they were just eating way too much damage. Jana wasn't there at the beginning, but she was able to come back and help clean up the fight at the end. That lost fight also means a lost tower for the mid lane as well. They might be able to rotate top and get a second tower. It's getting a little low, minion waves there, but they're just going to opt to recall and spend the gold that they just got from that fight.
Yep, Gavin taking away that Wraith camp for Brome Better Than You. We'll see how that works out. I'm going to spot the ward and not be able to do very much about it. They are right next to them, but they do know they have a ward in that jungle.
Alright, so this has been a very back and forth game with the next few fights being won. We're going to probably look to be seeing the blue team set up a more aggressive position, try and get a stronger foothold on the map, because they've been kind of pushed back into their own jungle the entire game.
Yep, as of right now, gold lead extended to about 4,000 here. 4 injection, 12 kills to 10 in the 20-minute mark. But Takeshi gets caught out by the elastic slingshot. Not going to fall, but takes a lot of damage from the soldier and those auto attacks from Azir. McGavin losing a little bit of health, but he is Zac, so it's not a huge deal. Uh-oh, here comes Takeshi again, gets knocked back. Let's bounce coming in. Problis evaporates them. They both the bot lane falls. Consi and Takeshi way too far out without any of the support of their team, and that looks to be a play for Baron coming out here for the blue team.
Yeah, that was just poor decision making from the red side bot lane. They were grouped up without their team basically, and they're going to get punished for that.
Yep, Zeobar does have teleport available to him. Might be able to come up for the team, but Baron is dropping very quickly. It's almost down now. Almost 2,000, 1,000, less than 1,000. Ashe picks up the kill there. That's a little sketchy, but end result, blue team does manage to get the first Baron of the game at 21 minutes. That gold lead now up to about 6,000.
And that was a beautiful rotation out of the blue team. The quick decision making, like you cannot hesitate. If you're going to make a play for Baron, you have to go, or else Y would have been in position to steal it. So good decision making from the shot caller, and now they're going to... Let's see how the Baron power play works from here.
Yep, definitely have to see how that one goes. Consi trying to sweep some wards with their impulse, picking himself the blue buff in that bot jungle. But they do have a very good threat of a split push here. That is a very powerful blue team in both 4v1 and 3v1s as well. Both they have a lot of tanks. Zac can choose to be wherever he wants. Azir and Mordekaiser can split push if they want to. And Zac is a very good frontline here with Janna disengage and Ashe as well. Let's see how that works out for them, what they choose to do.
Yeah, but I think Azir's going to have to choose to stay with the team. Like you said earlier, with the changes on his W, his split pushing power was greatly diminished, so he's a much better team fighter than he was before.
Very true. Looks like they're going to go with the 4-1. Umbria down there in that bot lane, moving it up towards the tower. Mordekaiser still has that special push ability. Ooh, there we go. The Emperor passive for Azir. That Shrima's Legacy spawning the tower to give them a bit of a foothold here in the mid lane.
And I don't think Maokai will be able to hold the split push of the Mordekaiser, especially with Ashe joining in now.
Uh-oh, here comes the... Oh, flashed here. Burned from Zeobar. Not much in terms of follows here, but there's... Shooter in the back line, going to get Let's Bounce onto one member, but that tower, it looks like it's going to be going down, hopefully soon. Not quite. They do manage to save the tower. Hallucinogenic going to shuffle Takeshi back and kill him right in the air. Man, the Azir. Oh, Hallucinogenic very comfortable on this pick, making a lot of good plays.
Yeah, definitely. He has been a dominant force this entire game, and with his pick on the mid lane and just... Red team's just getting out-rotated right now. They're just getting tower after tower, especially with this Baron buff.
Oh, here comes a team fight, though. Umbria is in the middle of the team. He's going to fall because Mordekaiser is not that tanky. He only has the Business Scepter and O'Reilly as they do manage to get the turret. Although they're shooting him in the backline, going to pick off Y as well. Hallucinogenic doing a lot of work here in the team fights to keep the damage going. That means they're probably going to be able to get themselves this mid inhibitor here. 30 seconds on Y, but Umbria is down. It is a 4v4. Hallucinogenic gets onto the traps. Going to get a lot of shields, but gets charmed here. Impulse might be able to pick up the kill, but the Monsoon saves him at the very end there. They are going to be able to take the inhibitor on the way out, but they need to run now. Zeobar taking a little bit of damage there from Zac and Problis as well. There comes the flash, and the heal comes out as well. Impulse forced to back away earns his ultimate and his ignite, doesn't manage to find the kill. Hallucinogenic is so low.
Yeah, and if it wasn't for that Flash Monsoon from Bro I'm Better Than You earlier on, he would be dead right now.
Red team looking to defend that top lane. They do have the numbers advantage right now, 3 to 4. They are going to force to back off, but that top lane turret does have very little health, and it's not going to heal anytime soon. So blue team will just be able to walk back up and pick that for themselves at some point.
And I'm really impressed with how the blue team's been playing this game. After they got Baron, they made no hesitation in sweeping out 2 mid towers, a bot tower, and an inhibitor. They have been non-stop out-rotating the red team for most of this game.
Very true. Strong power play with the Baron coming in for blue team. Baron buff is now gone, and at the 25-minute mark, that is now a almost 9,000 gold lead here for injection. 16 kills to 11, 46,000 gold to 38. Completed items coming out for Ashe and Caitlyn. Ashe is a BF sword ahead. Problis with a lot more gold on that carry than Takeshi at the moment. 2,000 gold ahead, to be precise. Azir does have the Rylai's and the Nashor's Tooth, so his core is pretty much done. Looking to build what looks like either an Abyssal here, or maybe even a Zanya's, depending on what he chooses to build later.
Yeah, I want to take a look at Azir's CDR. Let's see.
Zeobard catches Umbria on the ball lane. He's 1v5 here. Does have the dragon. He's doing a lot of damage. Impulse forced to flash away from Umbria to get that to safety. But that does mean blue team is going to be able to take... okay, that was a little unnecessary, I suppose. Does manage to take that top lane as well. Super minions coming in through the bot lane as well. Umbria a little too far up without the rest of his team ready to push on the other side of the map. But that does mean they do get that tower basically for free. But they do lose the threat of the Ocean Drake attached to that Mordekaiser, unfortunately. Uh-oh. Hallucinogenic is in the backline. The stream of shuffle into 4 members. Zach picks up the Let's Bounce onto a whole bunch of people. Problis is still alive. He's might drop here. Gonna get a triple kill for himself. Problis forced to back away. Monsoon keeping everybody nice and healthy. Hallucinogenic does drop, but they managed to pick up 3 members for 1 in a 4v5. Beautiful play for the stream of shuffle.
Yeah, and that that has a lot to do with how far ahead Ashe and Azir are ahead in gold.
Oh, McGavin in the back line. Wise going to drop so quickly. Has the rappel, but nowhere to go. He's going to fall right there. But Problis chose to prioritize the turret over the kill. Probably the correct choice. Shooter's going to miss the everything, actually. Uh-oh. Going to get trapped up there. Does manage to take the inhibitor out from under them. Blue team rotating away out of that area. Baron is up in a minute if they want to go for that. Looks like they're going to be backing and getting ready to head through it. Clearing wards, taking away the jungle from Apox in the meantime.
Yeah, and if you look at the red team's warding line, it's all outside of their base. So that's as far as they've been able to get, with the exception of 1 pink ward at the red buff. But blue team has just had a full control of this map.
True. Blue buffs on both Hallucinogenic and Problis for Ashe and Azir. Going to be pretty good considering Ashe is not going for that SG. We're heading, well, it looks like, for the Bloodthirster next. Mordekaiser's picked himself up the Gunblade, so he does have that built-in sort of pseudo-spell vamp.
Yeah, and Mordekaiser's KDA is not a reflection at all of how much damage he's able to put out. As you saw in the bot lane earlier when he was a sacrificial lamb, he was 1v4 and he held his own almost enough to get a kill out of it as well.
Yeah, as of right now, he actually has the Flame Horizon on his Zeobard, 226 CS to 122. He has actually the second highest CS in the game after Caitlyn. Looks like Red Team has actually been funneling a lot of that CS onto their Kara, trying to get her to that late game as well. So he is doing fantastic for himself.
Definitely have been. And I want to see a little bit more tank stats out of the Elise. She has opted for a full damage build, and that is not what you want to do against this team comp.
Yeah, it definitely is not. That being said, they do have the inhibitors down in the top and the mid lane. Looks like blue team, going to take that away. Head over to Baron. They do know Umbria's in the bot lane, so they're going to be looking to stop that split push, which means that blue team should have basically a free Baron off of this, especially because they don't have any vision there. They have no idea this is going on. They know Umbria's split pushing. They know they're off the map. They should have guessed at this by now. Farside Orb is only on our end. She's nowhere to pick it. That is a Baron pretty easily here for the blue team. They're going to looking to go straight up mid through that inhibitor. Umbria, this time, choosing to wisely back away, knowing that his team is a little bit further out than he would like.
Yeah, and that was really smart play from the blue team. They know that there was no wards at all. There was no chance of a steal, and if the red team went on, Zach could have easily just engaged with the Ash Arrow as well.
Very true. Oh, the inhibitor's up. Zach looking for the elastic slingshot. Not. Nope, there it is. Gonna go basically nowhere. Let's bounce on to 3 members. Gonna keep Elise out of this fight. They are gonna be able to go. Zeabeard is not tanky enough to survive this, but Impulse gets his damage across the entire team. Lucigenic and Azani's there in the back line. Impulse forced away by Shooter. Lucigenic dropping very low, but he survives. Takeshi gets exhausted. The shuffle forward into the Orb of Deception, going to finally drop the Azir, but he does not before they manage to pick up a 4-for-1 here for Injection. And that looks like that game is going to be going the way of Injection. First game of the series for them. Yep, and there is the ace. Y going to pick himself up a kill, but that is 3 members up. Still going to be able to take that Nexus, and that is the first game for TMG Injection.
Yeah, and the story of this game was basically Zach Azir engage into Ash just able to put out too much damage for the red team to handle. No one was able to get on her the entirety of any of those fights.
Yeah, they had a huge front line there for the game as well. But that means we'll be going into game 2 relatively soon. Stay with us, guys, just a second. We're going to take a little bit to set up that lobby, and we'll be back in just a moment. All right, and we're back. Welcome back, folks, to True Minded Gaming's Champion Series. This is Injection versus Apox, Game 2. For those of you who are just joining us, Game 1 did go over to Injection in the best of 3 series. We are now switching over sides. Apox will have the blue side, and Injection will have the red side. First ban coming out for Apox is the Shen.
Yeah.
Umbria does play a lot of that as well, so probably a very good choice.
Yeah, and I guess that is just a target ban out of Umbria. I'm not a huge fan of the pick, but if that's what he's comfortable on, then it makes sense to take it away.
Very true. Waiting on, I believe, Injection. Yep, Injection is waiting out their ban. They do have a ban dropped due to the use of an emergency substitute, but that does mean Apox will have 3 bans to Injection's 2. A little bit more power for them in the ban phase because of that.
And what I want to see is an Azir ban right now. He was way too good with it, and they tried to pick like a counter for it, and that did not work, obviously. So they just need to get rid of that.
Yeah. Oh, well, Zach banned out for Shooter. That's probably a very good choice. That early game pressure with the ganks and the teamfight disruption for McGavin was a very strong pick for them. They do ban the Zed away. Maybe Hallucinogenic aiming to get onto that Azir again. They are banning out the Assassin in the mid lane as well. Might be something to look into as we go further down the pick and ban phase.
And blue team, since they have the first pick, if they don't ban Azir, they need to grab it, because if they don't, red team is going to snatch that up instantaneous. Like Hallucinogenic, like that's his main champion. He's looking like all eyes to get onto that champion.
Indeed. Well, there it is. The Azir ban coming out for Apox Gaming, respecting Hallucinogenic's Azir, did a lot of work for them in the last game. So a very big respect ban coming out here against Injection's mid laner as well.
And we know that Hallucinogenic's champion pool is not that deep, so I wanted to see what he goes to after the Azir being taken away from him.
Indeed. I'm actually kind of curious. We did see he played he had a pretty flexible champion pool, but he had been playing Azir a lot recently, so we'll see how that goes, along with the rest of it. Zeobard picking up the Gragas. That could be a flex pick for the jungle or the top laner as well, so we'll see how that goes. Ooh. Oh boy.
And that was one pick I wanted to get to, Swain being left open, as well as Vladimir being left open, so I want to see if those 2 picks get snatched up real quickly.
I do believe Swain got nerfed in 6.11. He used to have a lot more power on his heal, a lot more power on his abilities. I think he got a nerf to his healing as well during this patch. I could be mistaken. But that does mean Swain is, while still a power pick, not nearly as oppressive
definitely.
what he used to be for a while. But that being said, he is still a very strong pick at the moment, what with the way the new Rod of Ages and the rest of that stuff works as well.
Yeah, he's very good. It's very hard to lose lane, I should say. It's very hard to get solo killed as Swain when all you do is heal.
Very true. Let's talk about those jungler picks right now. We've got Sejuani and Rek'Sai locked in for McGavin and Y. Rek'Sai, we've seen a little bit of a resurgence recently with the sort of nerfing of those carry junglers, Nidalee, Kindred, and Graves receiving a little round of nerfs to get them sort of out of the oppressive Holy Trinity 3. Victor here picked up for Impulse as well. We've seen him, he did have that in his champion pool. We do know he does play that. Victor has been a pretty staple mage pick ever since his rework. His ultimate, that Gravity Storm, the Chaos Storm does a lot more damage over time. Every 2 seconds it ticks for more than the initial burst damage. So in terms of overall burst, not nearly as strong, but he does a lot of very consistent damage now.
Yeah. And we do see that Sejuani pick. It was banned away from him in the first game, so I'm curious to see how well he can make use of it.
Yep, Karma and Caitlyn here coming out for Injection. Probably looking to be likely the bot lane for them. They do have a pretty good range there. Lucian and Janna is the response here for Apox Gaming. Lucian did get a couple of nerfs pretty recently. He's not nearly as oppressively powerful as he has been for the last season, but still a very strong AD carry pick regardless.
Yeah, and with that CDR build coming out of him, he's able to just output a lot of damage early on. So it looks like they're hovering Hecarim for the top lane, which would mean Swain would be the mid laner for Hallucinogenic.
Yep, have seen him in kind of both the top and the mid lane roles, depending on the matchups, but it's still hovering. We'll see what they pick. It looks maybe they've kind of been switching back between Aurelia and Hecarim. Umbria does favor some carry top laners. Yep, it is locked in with the Aurelia there as well. New Triforce actually might be very strong. We might see its debut here for the series and for the tournament as well.
Yeah, and with the crit being taken out of the item, Aurelia never really scaled that hard with crit anyway, so more attack speed on her true damage autos, that's going to be a very, very good item for her.
Sure, lots of attack speed and a lot more of a bonus to cooldown reduction as well. It used to be 10%, now is 20, I believe. So that does mean she's going to get some pretty convenient stats coming out of that item. Trinity Force now a lot less sort of wishy-washy with the stats. It's a lot more focused towards attack speed, carries, and bruisers as well. Jackson and Aurelia really like those changes, and we are going to see an Aurelia here today. So, that being said, locking in the team comps for both teams. For Apox Gaming, we've got Zeobard on Gragas in the top lane, Y in the jungle on Rek'Sai, Impulse X on Victor in the mid, Takeshi and Kansi on the Lucian Janna bot lane. For TMG Injection, we have Umbria on the Aurelia, Shooter McGavin on the Sejuani in the jungle, Hallucinogenic in the mid lane with that Swain, Probliss and Bro I'm Better Than You on Caitlyn and Karma in the bot lane. Range supports kind of popping up all over the place.
Yeah, as you said, that is the NA meta, so not a big surprise we're seeing that here. One thing I want to point out is the double TP out of the mid and top laners for the red team, so blue team's bot lane has got to be very, very careful of getting double TP ganked.
Yeah, we will see how that works out. It's a very powerful gank coming out of Sejuani. Does have a lot of CC with that Arctic Assault and Glacial Prison, her Q and her ultimate, respectively. And Permafrost now, I believe, actually applies to slows from multiple champions, which means it'll apply from slows to things like Karma and Aurelia and Swain as well. So a lot of really powerful strength coming out with the synergy for Injection.
Yeah, that is correct. And obviously Lucian and Janna, they're able to disengage fairly easily with Lucian's dash and Janna's monsoon or tornadoes. She's able to peel very well. That being said, however, if Sejuani is able to burn some early summoners, then they're going to be in a lot of trouble.
Very true. That being said, I know Twitch chat has already started doing it, but since you guys are doing it, we might as well keep going. Put in who you think is going to win. Hashtag Apox win or hashtag Injection win. You can tweet it at Treminding Gaming's Twitter if you want, or you can do it in the Twitch chat as well. I see you guys doing it down there. As of right now, really strong showing for Injection. Apox didn't really roll over and die, but they did kind of get choked out of the last game with Injection's rotations. We'll see if they can get themselves an early lead or keep up through the mid-game as we go into Game 2.
Yeah, that is one thing to point out, that red team scales a lot harder than the blue team will, so Rek'Sai is going to be needing to put a lot of early game pressure out with some early ganks.
Very true. She does have a very easy early gank path with those tunnels and the ability to see all of the movement on the map around her, but Sejuani does have a very fast clear as well. We'll have to see where these guys start, how their jungles look initially, and where they're going to choose to go for their first gank path.
Yeah, and there was a lot of attention last game on the top lane. I wonder if that's going to be the same trend. Try and get the top laner ahead, and then make the top laner TP gank down to the mid or bot lane.
Yeah, well, definitely very interesting to see.
One thing I do want to point out is that Victor usually he has like a variety of summoner spells that he can go with. Obviously, Ignite against the Swain is pretty good, but the Swain pick is actually forcing Victor off of the teleport, so they're going to have a lot less map pressure.
Yeah, it is going to be very interesting to see. The Ignite is useful against Swain, does cut his healing. Grievous Wounds actually is a very strong passive again, now that it reduces all healing, not just self-healing, and Victor can pick that up. An Executioner's Calling, we'll be looking to see if Lucian picks that one up, if they get those healing reductions as well. Victor does kind of have it in his build path with the Morellonomicon, but we'll see if Lucian picks it up. Takeshi picks up an Executioner's Calling on the way to that Mortal Reminder for his armor pen item.
And it'll be a little interesting to see how Victor chooses to upgrade, like his build path. There's a lot of flexibility with like upgrading your augments, getting like early Morellos, getting early like Abyssal Scepter. So we'll see how that goes out for him.
Alrighty then, we are on the Rift, folks. Second game of TMG Injection versus Apox Gaming. TMG Injection will be the red side for Game 2, as they had the blue side in Game 1. Apox Gaming, therefore, also on the blue side. Ping's coming out early. Looks like Apox is going to look for that kind of standard lane setup, going to sort of field goal line of scrimmage themselves across the river. I just used a lot of football terms I don't understand. This is why I cast League of Legends.
One thing I think is interesting is that Takeshi actually does not have biscuits. So I'm actually curious as to what masteries he's running.
30 seconds until...
Yep.
Okay, it seems he opted for 18-0-12 in this matchup to reduce his summoner spell cooldowns.
Actually, while we're there, could you run over Keystone Masters real quick, since we can't see them on Spectator?
Yeah, so we got Grasp for Gragas, Fervor for Aurelia in the top lane. Y opted to go for Thunderlord's Decree on Rek'Sai, with Shooter McGavin having the standard Strength of the Ages. Swain with Deathfire Touch, Victor also running Thunderlord's Decree. Caitlyn and Lucian both running Fervor Battle, pretty standard. And Janna and Karma are both running Windspeaker's Blessing.
Alright, pretty standard Keystone Masters then for most people. The Thunderlords is a little different for coming out of Rek'Sai. It's a little interesting. I mean, she's not going to be she's not going to be as tanky in the late game. That is 300 bonus extra health coming out of killing jungle camps. We will see, however, if she does manage to get the usage out of that Thunderlords to get the early ganks off as well.
And I wonder if she might be going for the Warrior enchantment on that, since she obviously opted for a little more damage-oriented masteries.
Oh man, that new Swain change, the bird doing an impressively large amount of damage. Just kind of easy, just throws it out there, gets some damage, throw it out there, get some damage and a minion. No big deal. But in the meantime, everything's a little even. It's pretty even across the board. Gold's even. Nothing huge coming out of these players just yet. Nothing particularly... Uh-oh. Never mind, Hallucinogenic hit level 2. Impulse is having a bad day.
Yeah, Impulse is probably going to be looking for an early gank onto the Swain.
Yeah, as of right now, Shooter McGavin opting to go Gromp, Wolves, Wraiths, looking to get that level 3 off of small camps, I think. Rek'Sai, in the meantime, did go the more standard Gromp Red, heading towards Blue now, I believe, which will get that level 3 in the jungle pretty easily. Oh man, Aurelia. Stuns up Zeobard in the middle of that trade, not too big of a deal. But both junglers now opting to get their second buffs. McGavin is a little bit going to be able to smite that red buff to get back the extra health, but he is dropping a little low there. Y also very low. And they don't have potions anymore, so we'll see how that works out.
And we see Shooter McGavin again. He's going for a fast clear to get an early gank down in the top lane.
Yep, and he is coming in towards the top lane. Y is actually going to play differently. Zeobard, finds him with, and that's not going to be a stun, though. Oh boy. Gravity Field going to get the stun there. The bite coming through, going to get the first blood for Impulse X. Really good gank there from Y. Manages to knock up Swain in the Gravity Field to keep that CC chained. Meanwhile, they did manage to blow the flash for Zeobard in the top lane, but not much going on. Oh my god, Lucian, please stop being so oppressive.
Yeah, and Victor we know as one of the better mid laners at setting up ganks with his Gravity Field, so that was very clean, very quick gank.
Yeah, especially for Swain, who doesn't really have any means of mobility other than running, or in this case, limping out of the way of whatever it is trying to kill him at the time. Very good setup from Y to knock him up in the Gravity Field. He wasn't able to get out of there without blowing flash. He didn't have the time to either.
Yeah. But Impulse X actually did have to blow his flash just in fear of hallucinogenics, so there won't be any flash for Victor, who is also an immobile mage, so Shooter McGavin might look to make a gank in the mid lane.
Very true. That gank, however, does sort of equalize the gold for them, considering that he is about half of hallucinogenic CS at the moment. Did pick up the Double Doran's Ring, and I believe the upgrade to one of the upgrades to his Hex Core, so we'll make that a little easier for farming for him with that laser, if that's the one he picked up.
No, that is actually the prototype still.
Oh, it is. Never mind. Never mind.
He opted for, instead of upgrading, just to go double Doran's Ring boots. So that'll be a little interesting to see how that pans out.
Alright. I'm going to take a quick look at the health bar and go probably not so well.
Yeah.
Swain is easy mode trades. Just throw your E, throw your Q, and be okay. Yep, alright.
Yeah,
okay.
especially with the Deathfire touch, it's, melts people. And that's something I would have liked to see out of Victor, probably get the first upgrade for the Hex Core, just upgrade his E and just fast clear waves so he doesn't have to eat as much poke.
Oh, jeez. Alright, that's not fair. Hallucinogenic doing a lot of damage to Impulse. He does have a couple more potions, so they are getting their health back. That is good. But Hallucinogenic does have the flash advantage over Impulse, so depending on the time of them hitting level 6, that might be a very suddenly aggressive Swain. We'll have to see how that works out for them.
Yeah, and I would imagine that there's a level 6 gank out of Shooter McGavin. Like, once the Sedge hits 6, her gank pressure is just insane with her ultimate.
Uh-oh. Why? Found Shooter in the jungle. Uh-oh, he's going to have to flash the Never Move. Gravity Field coming out, not necessarily needed with Sejuani backing off, so okay. Oh, boy. Alright. Everyone disengages. Okay, good. I was like, uh-oh. Don't know what's going to happen. Don't know what's going to happen. Alright.
That is one thing to point out. Both teams do have a lot of disengage coming from, like, almost every champion.
Uh-oh, Wise coming as well. Shooter McGavin here, but Swain is 6. Victor is not. Wise going to take a lot of damage from the counter gank from Sejuani. He might fall here. One more auto attack. Not going to get again. Hallucinogenic forced to blow flash for fear of the reprisal, but nothing coming out of that gank in the middle. Hallucinogenic very low. Shooter as pretty high health. Y as well also very low. Going to tunnel around and be Rek'Sai at camps, I suppose. Oh god, please don't die to wolves. That would be really awkward. Oh boy. Oh boy. Oh man, I'm watching his health bar. It is like blinking red angrily on the screen there.
He was able to get him.
Okay. Does manage to take the wolves. Doesn't fall to the wolf camp. Is going to back. Get some of that health back there as well. But that's good.
Not a whole lot of action outside that first blood. Obviously, there's a lot of fighting on the mid lane, but not a whole lot of kills been thrown around. Not like last game, anyways.
Yeah, things have kind of stabilized out. Injection has got themselves a 400 goal lead, kind of just with farming. Swain does have 20 CS up on Victor, and so does Aurelia, actually. They both skill laners doing very well for themselves in their respective matchups. Gragas forced to go for the Chain Vest, while Aurelia has a Sheen. That's going to be really bad for him.
Yeah, and even though Swain got first blood, he is actually ahead in gold by like just a couple, just due to the amount of farm he is ahead, so that's really good on his part.
Okay, wait a minute. So Gragas has a Chain Vest and a... Uh-oh. Here comes Rek'Sai tunneling and teleport, however, coming in from Umbria as well from that tunneling. Consi is very... Uh-oh. Well, that's... Okay. Aurelia got some flashes. Zeabeard manages to catch out Karma. The knockup's coming in as well. Lucian gonna be able to take that one. Double teleports blown for both teams, resulting in a kill apiece. Aurelia and Gragas picking themselves up some pieces of that action in the bot lane. Uh-oh. Victor, run! Oh boy, that's not good. Okay, well, Hallucinogenic and Umbria with the dive. Going to be able to take away Impulse's life. Didn't manage to flash that Never Move. Didn't, I think, expect the Aurelia gank from what...
Actually, his flash was on a like 10 seconds longer cooldown, so that was a really smart gank out of Aurelia there.
Alright, well, there you go. Didn't flash because he didn't have it. That would explain many things as to why he didn't flash.
Yeah, so with it's evened out actually, like with kills in the bot lane. That trade actually going, I guess, in favor of the red side now that it's 2 kills to 1. During that fight, Shooter McGavin actually was in the mid lane, so he wasn't able to get down there in time. So that was smart on the blue side, but they were ending up trading 1-for-1, so that was kind of sloppy play from them.
Very true. That being said, everything is kind of evening out to where it was last time. 10 minutes into the game, 1,000 gold lead here for Injection, kind of at the same state it was in last game. Both kills are even, but the farm advantages is what's really kind of leveling this one out. Lucian does have a farm advantage over Probliss. Takeshi doing a very good job for himself down there in that bot lane, but they've got okay. Y is a little deep here, I think. They are under the tower, and the lane is pushing back out, so they might be able to make something happen.
Rek'Sai can tunnel over the wall, at, like maybe eating one tower shot at most.
Yeah, we will see. It looks like it's going to be pushing out a little bit. Y is kind of chillaxing there, waiting for the gank. Corsi is going to get out. Here comes Y, but the flash comes out from Bro, and then Probliss is going to be able to do some damage here. But overall, some free damage coming out for Apox with that trade in the top there.
And Y can come back down to the bot lane and jump on the Karma. She's very squishy, and since her flash just got blown, it'd be very easy to get a gank off on her.
Very true. Looks like blue team going for the Mountain Drake, though. Yeah, looks like they're going to have moving for the Dragon. Red team knows they are there. I believe blue team knows that Shooter is in the blue buff area. Uh-oh, that's a lot of harass coming through. Swain's here as well. That could be a really bad con. He's in a bit of a trouble here. Does have it, but they're going to go on to Karma. They're going to get that kill as well. Hallucinogenic is very, very tanky, but that is the Victor ult coming through. Takeshi is going to have to run away here. Going to come over the wall. Might be able to get the kill, but Hallucinogenic flashes. Uh-oh, and that is... Okay, you can't flash Caitlyn ult. Alright, well, that was a 4-for-1 there in the bot lane. Umbria going to take the top lane tower as best he can in the meantime. In the meantime, Shooter is just like taking the entirety of Y's blue side jungle.
Yeah, and that just shows how far ahead Swain is and how strong of a pick he is right now in the meta. You see, they were outnumbered during that fight, and they were still able to come out on top.
Yeah, Victor not quite doing as much damage. A lot of the sort of meta we've seen with Victor is to rush that upgraded items so that he can get the Chaos Storm moving as fast as possible in those fights. Does seem to be going for the Morellonomicon first, which again Swain might not be bad, but he is just very far behind in farm and kills as well. Swain already has his first completed item, that Rod of Ages ticking away. Has a Null Magic Mantle, likely going for a Spirit Visage, probably?
Yes, Spirit Visage is very just classic item on Swain, always has been. Buffs your healing up a lot. It could be an Abyssal Scepter, but... Or it could be an Abyssal Scepter and a Spirit Visage, but definitely going to see one of those two items right now.
Zebir is taking a lot of damage. Y is here in the gank, coming in for the gank, but Zebir is forced to flash away. They have the ward, though. Stun comes up, knock-up coming in as well. Going to be able to get the body slam with the damage coming through. And Y is able to pick up the kill. Zbeard walking calmly away at very little health. But that is a kill onto Umbria for Y's Rek'Sai. Oh, jeez, wow. Okay, farm alarm. Rek'Sai tunneling back towards that bot lane. Red team looked like they were going to make a play on a dragon, but it is now once again a 4v4. Zbeard has teleport, and so does Umbria. They both don't. Umbria does have flash up now, though. Uh-oh. Takeshi dashes away from Shooter. Shooter taking a lot of damage here as well.
Yeah, and with that Karma, she is 0-2, but her Mantra Q is able to put out a lot of damage.
Probliss actually has done something interesting. He's trapped up. I think they saw those ward go down. He's trapped up both sides of that ward, so even if Zeobard wanted to teleport onto it, you probably get trapped immediately coming out. Which means they don't really have the play on that deep teleport, on that teleport ward there in the bot lane either.
Yeah. However, maybe Swain could teleport down there. He's obviously not going to be taking a lot of damage from one headshot, but Aurelia has no defensive items yet, so she got to be careful of teleporting down onto a trap.
Very true. So Hallucinogenic uses his combo and gets half of Impulse's health. Uh-oh, here it is. The trap wore out. Are they going to be able to get it? Body slam onto Caitlyn. Explosive class Caitlyn back into the lane. Takeshi's going to be able to pick up the kill for himself there in the bot lane. That is one kill, 2 kills onto the Lucian. And looks to be a power play here onto Dragon as well.
That was actually my bad. I was used to seeing Caitlyn on the other team last time, so Aurelia's with the Caitlyn, so never mind on that.
Indeed. That being said, looks to be a power play onto Mountain Drake here. They do know they're taking it. Karma and Sejuani sort of around the area. Impulse is going to take a lot of damage. Who's going to just casually tower diving him under? Oh, actually, might take... Yep. Oh, no. Never mind. Swain is good at healing. Oh, well. Sejuani uses the ultimate there, unfortunately, and doesn't quite get anything for it. Zeobard just gets slowed. Hallucinogenic just walked under the... Okay... I don't think you're going to have a good day with that. Oh, wait, one more auto tech, maybe. There it is. Okay. So, Takeshi manages to get the kill onto Swain. Little, kind of, I don't want to say finally, but kind of.
Yeah.
It's a bit of a very long chase there coming around. And, oh, Takeshi's running for his life right now.
And with that teleport...
Looking to execute on the tower, I
Oh,
believe.
yeah, he does not want to get chased, but... I feel like it could have been fine recalling. I don't know. They didn't have very many wards in their own jungle.
Yeah, if he had walked kind of towards that the backside of red buff there, sort of where that that tribush is coming out from the gate, he might have been able to make it. They didn't have many wards deep in jungle, but of course he doesn't know that. So choosing, I don't want to say it's not really the safe option, but the less risky one, regardless. Teleport here coming out. Why doesn't make it through the tunnels, which means he's going to be in trouble. Never move on to the wreck side is going to result in him dropping. Lucigenic going to pick himself up another kill. That is an angry Swain. 5-2-2 here at the 15-minute mark.
Yeah, and he has just been dominant in this mid lane. This guy seems to be like kind of a backbone of the entire team, making plays around him. With Probliss, obviously. Probliss just putting out damage as Caitlyn, obviously.
Yeah, as of right now, so 50 minutes into the game, a 4,000 gold lead here for Injection. 8 kills to 6, 1 tower to 0, but they have a farm advantage. Blue team manages to have taken... okay, well, that just happened. Takeshi taking a lot of damage. Kind of doesn't quite get out of Nevermove's radius, right until his genetic just dumps a lot of bird onto his face.
Yeah, and Aurelia is still hammering away in the top lane. She has just been kind of unstoppable in a 1v1, as that champion has been throughout the history of that champion. And one thing to point out was when Zeabeard teleported down for the gank on bot lane, she was actually able to get the tower for free, and then she was able to teleport down for the next fight.
Oh, geez, that is a lot of damage. She does have the Triforce completed. Zeabeard doesn't have any... Uh-oh. That explosive cask was mildly questionable, but he did manage to flash out of Sejuani's ult, so that's not bad.
I feel like he fat-fingered the E and R keys at the same time.
Potentially. maybe looking to knock Sejuani away in case they dove him, but sort of dropped it a little bit, I think, further. Okay.
The steal out of Rek'Sai.
Stealing it with the Prey Seeker. You don't see that every day.
Definitely not.
Interestingly enough, though, there was a build a while back with AP Rek'Sai where you would just stay in tunnel form all the time and just pretend to be a submarine. Oh, Umbrea's onto the tower, taking a lot of damage. Student McCain going to switch in with him as well, but that means he's onto the tower, and the tower has been stacking up the whole time, but that is 4 members of Injection there in the top lane. Hallucinogenic is just one-doing this laner. Not so much anymore with the exhaust coming out, but he is still healing. Oh, Takeshi. Oh, dear. All right, one more auto attack might do it. All right, he finally gets the kill there. In the meantime, they're going to take the inner turret, but they might lose a lot here. Flash being blown from Probliss, going to get the traps out to stop the re-engage. But that is overall a 2 for 0, but they traded a turret for it.
Yeah, I don't know how I feel about that. Obviously, it was fine for Red Team to trade the tower for the kill on the bot lane, but they tried pushing even farther away, and that was just not a smart choice.
Uh-oh, Y finds Umbria, and turns out, joke's on him, Umbria is the one who found Y.
And one thing about Aurelia is, you know, her stun, it increases every time she ranks up that E, so it is very hard to fight her if you're in a higher level of health than her.
Yeah, Injection actually going for a very... oh dear. Well, that happened. So, Umbria, kind of scary.
Yeah, Umbria is definitely making his mark on this game right now in the Aurelia. He's finished his Triforce, and he is now, like, unbeatable in a 1v1.
Yep. Does, in fact, have maxed the W, has maxed the hit 10 style for the damage and the healing. Equilibrium Strike at 4 ranks, so maxing that one next as well. So, lots of stun, lots of auto-attack damage, especially with Fervor Battle. I believe it stacks further on melee champions as well.
Yeah.
Sorry, not further, faster.
So we're probably going to expect to see a 1-3-1 coming out of the Aurelia and Swain. Caitlyn and Sejuani able to just hold down the mid lane pretty easily until objectives start spawning, probably.
Very true. Injection is 3 turrets up, and they've broken the inner and outer for top lane and the outer turret for mid lane, which means they have a lot of really good control in that top lane area. That being said, Baron is spawning in 50 seconds. Baron in 40, Dragon in 50, give or take. So we'll be seeing both of those objectives kind of spawn at the same time. Although, I don't think either team can go for Baron at this point. It looks... red team might be able to. Okay, well they caught Sejuani with the explosive cast, but Shooter McGavin just going to use that Arctic Assault charge right out of the danger zone.
Yeah, that's not the target you want to be explosive casting into your team. Sejuani, if anything, could just re-engage onto you with the Glacial Prison.
Yeah, we do have the 131 coming out here. They're trying to tank the turret. They're trying to give the turret some time to take out those minions. We have an Arctic Assault onto 3 people. Takeshi going to take a lot of damage, but that isn't actually... They aren't able to do the re-engage. Chaos Storm is going to zone out pretty hard, but Swain and Aurelia are collapsing from really deep here. Uh-oh. Blue team has to run.
Yeah,
Jenna coming outside the backside. Probably going to lead with the headshot, with the pulled over Peacemaker coming. Hallucinogenic gets stunned in the gravity field, but Aurelia is in the middle of it, going to take down Consi. Y is going to drop next as well, not going to be able to take down the kill. Takeshi doing what he can, but that is Hallucinogenic and Umbria at full strength. Impulse is going to get slowed very quickly here. Going to get the gravity field out potentially, but the Never Move not quite landing. Sejuani going to get the flash charge onto Impulse. The only person left alive is Zeobard, and he's got to run. That is far for nothing on the side here of Injection.
The second they saw either Aurelia or Swain leave their lane, they had to back off, because that's where all of their gold is on those 2 split pushers. That was just a very poor lack of, like, watching the map, I suppose. Not going to be able to get too much out of it. Maybe the mid tower. No, Aurelia's going to have to back off. So that was a 1 fight, but I feel like things are going to reset, and they're just going to keep up their grasp on the map.
Yeah, what that does mean, though, is with those backs coming in, they are going to have more gold pressure here for this Dragon. It is a Mountain Drake, so that's very important here. Y knows that Umbria is there. Gets the smite to force him to stop recalling, but I'm just going to casually walk back onto the turret, swap with Hallucinogenic, get that back in. Has a Trinity Force and a Hex Drinker right now. Looks to be potentially going for a Sunfire Cape? No? Hold on.
Not anymore. It doesn't build out Giant's Belt
no.
Chain Vest anymore. I
don't think anything built out of Giant's Belt Chain Vest.
Yes, it does. The Dead Man's Plate.
Hey, you're right. Dead Man's Plate then looking to be coming in probably for his second full item here. Hex Drinker going to do very well against the Victor and the Gragas as well. But kind of the main threat on the team here is Takeshi. 4 kills, 4 deaths, 140. Has finished that Yomu's. Is trying to get that Yomu's Black Cleaver build going. Unfortunately, doesn't have enough gold to finish it off just yet, though.
Yeah, he got kind of shut down early just with the constant trading, and he wasn't able to get that early power spike, and now he's starting to fall behind with the early game Lucian build.
Actually, Y coming in here onto Hallucinogenic. Impulse. Hallucinogenic is actually stuck in between Impulse and Y, although I don't know if they're stuck with him or he's stuck with them at this point. Hallucinogenic is doing... Okay, now that is a 4-man collapse. But Umbria is here as well. Going into the back line. Impulse is going to take a lot of damage. Explosive Cast gets them away, but Umbria is just going to casually run off in the other direction. Hallucinogenic and Umbria both splitting that fight up, forcing blue team to respond to each one of them as they go. And at this point, Caitlyn and the rest of the team just going to take this bot lane tower for free.
Yeah, I don't think it was a smart move to collapse everyone onto the Swain, especially if you're not going to be able to kill him. And, you know, he ran out of mana, so he wasn't able to continue the fight, but they left red team all alone to push on those towers.
Yeah, lots of ults blown as well. Explosive Cask, Chaos Storm, and Monsoon blown in that top lane enough. What was basically a 2v4. Swain and Aurelia, very, very scary.
And honestly, I feel like they could have kept up the fight if Swain had more mana.
Well, Takeshi does a lot of damage onto Probliss. Not quite expecting the engage range of that Lucian. He does have red buff, and I think bought an elixir early, it looks like. Oh, Jana, no! Consi getting caught out here in the backline. Gravity Field going to come down. Shooter gets stunned up in the field, but doesn't take any damage to the Karma Shield. Going to negate a lot of that damage from the blue team. Meanwhile, Hallucinogenic just calmly plonking away at the top lane. Y got behind him, though. They're going to try to do, again, collapsing onto the Swain. I don't think they have the damage to do it. He is just going to drop everything onto Impulse. Please use Ignite. There it is. But Impulse is taking way too much damage. They're going to CC him down. Y and Zeobar are going to be able to do enough, but the bird is going to kill Impulse. They do manage to finally kill Hallucinogenic, but that is a very powerful Swain. In a 1v3, still manages to go with the 1v1 over like the course of a 30-second fight.
Yeah, and that seems to be just the course of this game. Swain just kind of drawing the entire team away. And he's a force to be reckoned with this entire game. No one has been able to even come close to stopping him.
Yeah, Injection collapsing here on the mid lane turret. They do have the Caitlyn and the Aurelia. That is going to be another easy turret for them. 10,000 gold lead here at the 25-minute mark. 15 kills to 9, 6 towers to 1. They have the Ocean Drake for themselves on the side of Injection. The Mountain Drake for Injection. The Ocean, I believe, for Apox.
And one thing to point out is Swain has finished his kind of core, so to speak. His Rylai's and Spirit Visage are done. His Rod of Ages is completely stacked. And so he is going to be able to put out a lot of consistent damage in fights.
Sorry, quick correction. That is actually a double Mountain Drake that has been picked up for both on both sides. They have a Mountain Drake each, which is not a thing I realized until just now. So both of their objective-taking power is still kind of equalized the same from those buffs, but that does mean whichever one gets the Elder Dragon or Baron is going to have a very good time because of the increased potency of that objective-taking power.
And the next dragon to spawn will also be an Earth Drake, so...
Oh boy, 3 Earth Drake, RNG the dream.
And with the changes to Ocean Drake, that is probably the second best dragon to get in this game.
Zeobard gets caught out a little bit by McGavin, but he does get a little bit harassed and then promptly leaves. Uh-oh. Hallucinogenic is running at Takeshi as fast as he can, but he is Swain, not nearly as mobile as at Lucian, but that means Takeshi needs to be really careful. He's got the... Uh-oh.
All he needs to do is get one proc of his Rylai's on Lucian and he can chase him down, but he opted to back off.
Well, Y and Impulse are closing on both sides as well. Hallucinogenic going to get caught out by both of them. Gonna flash on Takeshi. He's gonna have to blow Yuma's to run away. That's the flash, the never move as well. But Hallucinogenic is back to full health again. Takeshi gonna take a lot of damage. Hallucinogenic can just run at him. This is sad.
Yeah, one thing about Swain is he is able to just heal just by standing inside of the team.
Yeah. Monsoon comes in. Umbria going to be able to get onto Zeabeard and Consi. Not going to be able to take them down, I don't think. The Howling Gale comes in and stops the gate. Zeabeard goes very far, forced to flash away. Not a lack of communication really there. Glacial Prison goes out, doesn't catch anybody. It win the stun, just gets the slows.
That was actually a flash Glacial Prison out of X-Smithy, I should say.
Yeah, basically. But look at that region, though. McGavin has a Warmogs.
Yeah, he has no defensive stacks, just health.
Yeah, but that doesn't matter when you're not really dying. He hasn't died yet this game, actually, because Hallucinogenic and Umbria have been such massive threats to the backline here.
Yeah, one thing to point out is most of the deaths are actually on the Swain, but that is not stopping him from just pushing away and letting his team get free roam of the other side of the map.
Indeed. Well, they found the pink ward going for this blue buff. That is a formant. Oh, Takeshi, no, taking a lot of damage. Shooter gets in the middle of 4 of them. Going to get the gravity field onto one person. Howling Gale comes in. Umbria is dealing with Y. Oh, that's... Okay. Well, that's the kill there. Y falls. Shooter McGavin going to get onto Zeobard with the Arctic Assault. Be able to take him down as well. 2, 3 for 0. Hallucinogenic killing Takeshi in the bot lane as well. Red team can do basically whatever objective they want, looking to split push potentially both towers. Hallucinogenic does have that red buff and the Mountain Drake, so I hope you like all of the true damage on the towers.
And even though Hallucinogenic was in the bot side of the map, I still give him credit for the fight. He brought Lucian down there, who was the majority of the blue team's damage, and with him out of the picture, there was nothing stopping the red team from walking all over that.
Yep. Injection going for the bot lane inhibitor, going to take that one out. Grouping up in the mid lane as well for that next inhibitor. 6 and 8 seconds on the death timers at the time. Y and Zeobar are going to come up very, very soon, but it might not be fast enough. That inhibitor is going to fall very quickly, and Injection is going to take the safe course and back out of the base after basically leaving it in shambles.
Yeah, now I gotta look to see if they want to group up for Baron. They got two inhibitors. Oh, and looks like they are actually going to group up for that Earth Strike.
Yep, that will be the third Earth Strike of the game. Second one for Injection. Looks like Apox is going to rush the Baron.
Yeah, and only Karma's there to stop him at the moment. Sejuani has to get up there quickly.
Yeah, here's the problem though. Swain and Aurelia both have teleport. They managed to take out. They got to take out the wards before you start this Baron. Otherwise, they're going to get the teleports on. There's a teleport onto the ward. Swain and Aurelia double teleport onto the backline. Consi is going to get stuck next to Baron. Hallucinogen going to go with the kill. Impulse is going to get stuck next to Shooter. Ziabard going to drop as well. That is 3 members dropping. Y in the backline going to drop 4 deaths on the side of Apox. Injection with a double teleport into the Baron pit to pick up the kills. You got to kill those wards, guys.
Yeah, that ward was the straw that broke the camel's back in this game, and after that, there is no hope at all of coming back from this.
Takeshi going in for going to get towered out of Apex. Oh no! Ace in the hole coming out from across the base. Going to pick up that final kill. That is 5 people down for Apox. Injection looking to end the game here as well.
And Janus spawning, Victor and Gragas up in 10 seconds, but that is not going to matter. This is going to be the end of game 2.
Yeah, looks they're on to the Nexus now. They might be able to get something happening. Maybe not. They are away from the base. Jana going to be able to force. Probliss is actually getting really greedy here, going away from the Nexus, but nope, they do get it with the Super Minions as well. And that will be the series for Injection in a very convincing 2-0 split.
Yeah, that was just dominance all across the board from every single member of the red team.
Yeah, very much props to Umbria and Hallucinogenic, very much doing a lot of work to get their team into that mid-game. Shooter and Caitlyn, as of right now, that was 25 kills to 9. Right there, a lot of them on Hallucinogenic, a lot of the team getting sort of bodied onto him to try and take him down. But in the meantime, objectives fall left and right. They do manage to pick up some really good kills and some really good objectives for themselves throughout the mid-game, going into that late-game push. So congratulations to Injection for taking the 2-0 win over Apox. You guys, just so you know, we will have the next game coming up at 5:30. That is when it's scheduled. That will be... I will tell you the team as soon as I remember what it is. Hey! All right, 5:30 to 8 o'clock. That was our 3 to 5:30 game. TMG Injection versus Apox Gaming in the best of 3. Injection takes the win. At 5:30 to 8 o'clock, there will be Team Galaxy versus TMG Nova Core. That'll be actually cast by a new set of casters. That'll be Great Panda and Dreadcell. You guys might remember them from the first game of the preseason games 2 weeks ago. They'll be joining us, replacing us on the caster desk for that game. So until then, guys, you got an hour until the next game. We will see you then.